Hey everybody, Chad from Boat and Tackle. Welcome to Just Fishing. You know what? Spring is in the air. Everybody's getting the boats out. They're dying to get on the water. I'm dying to get fishing. And today, I've got a couple good old boys here to talk a little bit of fishing. So let's get at it. Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm here today with my buddy Pete Thuss. How's it going, Pete?
I'm awesome, buddy.
And you've been kind
Thanks
enough
for having
to
me
bring, yeah, my pleasure to have you. And you've brought your buddy Pat, who we've fished before, Pat.
Yep,
But maybe Pete, you could introduce him for me. If you don't mind.
Patty and I, Pat Campbell, we've been buddies for a long time, and we've fished.
That's for sure.
Fished and golfed together, and he's at Tournay Electric. He owns Tournay Electric, and we've done a lot of fun things. So today we're going to talk a little bit about fishing stuff.
We are. Who's a better fisher, Pat?
Well, that'd be me, of course.
Easy.
Yeah,
Easy.
absolutely. That's an easy one. That's an easy one.
Yeah. I knew. Why did I know? That was going to be the answer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No matter what.
I'd say we both got our good points for sure.
That's
for
right.
sure.
Yeah. Well, you can agree to disagree.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming. I just thought we should do this because I don't know about you. I'm getting to that point where I'm pulling out the tackle. Well, actually, I already did, but I pulled it out. It was all spread over the kitchen island, and my wife was making fun of me because I had 80 plastic tackle boxes, and I was rearranging everything. What's going on?
It happens. It happens.
I know.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you have all that
And
stuff.
you open it up and find out that you just bought something that you already have six
Well,
of.
that's just it.
Yeah.
We went to the show, and you get more tackle, and you grab more, and it's like, where am I going to put that stuff now?
I heard you've got a fishing room. Is what
I do.
I heard.
I
what
do.
is exactly a fishing room? Tell me about that.
It was a spare bedroom that my wife had an eye on for other things, and I said, no, that's where all my stuff's
That's your
going.
fishing room.
Yeah, so all the rods and reels,
Nice.
and
Patty
tackle,
stood up to her.
everything. So
He was still shorter than her, but he stood up to her.
She's the tall one in the family.
Well, that's one person I am taller than.
Oh, really? Yeah. Just barely, probably.
Yeah, just barely.
So
Yeah,
this thing
for
is
sure.
this thing is just like loaded up with rods and reels and all the goodies, like a bedroom just pimped out.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, actually, there's just too many rods and reels.
well.
I have a hard time getting rid of them, right? You look at them, you've used them, and but then you just keep buying, you get better equipment all the time, and so you just keep the old stuff, right?
Yeah,
It piles up.
I can relate with that. I just went to the show last week in Toronto, and I wasn't buying anything. I told my wife, I'm not buying anything. I don't need anything. I'm all set. Yeah, I came home with a brand new bait caster and a brand new rod too. So 2 days later, I was selling some stuff on Facebook Marketplace.
I saw the ads. I almost bought it. So I don't need anything either, right?
I thought I just don't need this all, but then you think maybe I do need it all, and you get leery. It is. It's kind of just fun to have. I mean, you always think then you don't have to change lures all the time, and it's just I'll do up 5 or 6 rods, have them all ready to go, and they go, see, that's why I have them.
Yep.
It's justification.
That's why they have rod lockers.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's why the boat has a rod locker.
fits 10 rods.
Absolutely.
Do you want to admit to how many rods are in this bedroom?
Sure. I got to count them because they're in. Probably there's got to be 30 rods in there.
That's actually a respectable number.
Yeah, that's 30. About 30 rods.
Anything
And that's
between-
running right from the trolling rods and everything else for going out in the lake and trolling, right through the bait casters and spinning reels.
See, I
and
don't
such.
feel so bad now because I counted mine the other day. I'm at 25, and I thought, what do I need 25 rods for?
Well,
Maybe I need
there is a
five.
legitimate reason.
Maybe I need 5 more. Pat's got 30.
Yeah, that means I need 5 more.
I figure anything between 30 and 80 is acceptable.
That's a good
you
number.
go. Perfect.
That's a good number.
That's what I've heard. Are you a bait caster guy mostly, Pete, or are you,
I
are you
used to
for
be.
spinning reel?
I used to be spinning. Now I've got 2 spinnings that I use, and I've got 7 bait casters.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I'm more of a bait caster, and I will. Most of my bass and anything like that, pike or anything, I'm all bait caster.
Interesting.
But when it comes to either perching or walleye fishing, if I'm jigging or something, I'm spinning reel. Then I've got a few different ones for that. Some fun ones, some lightweight ones that
Ultralight.
You can have a 1.5-pound fish on, and your rod's bent right over, so it's looks like a monster.
That's probably your standard.
I keep it all the time. It makes me look like a big man.
He just keeps taking pictures and blowing them up.
Look at that rod bent over.
Yeah, I just bought a BFS setup and a bait cast one, and it's a lot of fun. It really is.
What's BFS?
It's a bait finesse system they come out with now. So I bought the 6/8 light Steez and put a Corrado BFS reel on it, and it just allows you to cast lighter baits and stuff.
Okay.
But when you hook into a fish, it's a lot of fun. It's a big fight, and you can't horse them. You know, so yeah, even a average sized bass feels like a monster. So it's a lot of fun.
It makes him feel good when his rod's bent over.
Yes, I know. Just feeds the ego.
Oh yeah. We're all a little bit that way, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
I only use a bait caster for muskie, but really just for the reason that you just said, because when they're throwing the light baits, I've had some lightweight setups, and I just, I'm bird nest king, right?
Yeah.
So I can't do it. So I do it with my muskie and everything else.
I never bird's
everything
nest.
else. I don't have my
nest.
muskie set up ever.
Oh, good.
Ever.
You don't bird's nest?
No.
Hey, you've been in the boat.
Come on.
Tell the truth, Pat. Like, how many times has he bird nested?
Every once in a while, everybody does, right?
He's probably got like 10 packs of extra line on the boat.
That's why I have 5 rods in the boat.
Yeah,
that's right. So what are you getting ready for now? Like, Pete, like what's first on your agenda for the fishing?
We'll probably get ready to do some pike down at Long Point. That's kind of where we like to throw the boat in first and go down and make a few casts. And it's usually fun to go down there and do some of that fishing.
Absolutely.
So it's we'll probably start there.
Gets us set up for our fishing trip. We always go away.
You guys go north, right?
Yeah. So that's the first couple of weeks of June. We go for a week, and so that's all the walleye. And we go far enough that the bass is open. So
why go all the way north for walleye when we have such phenomenal
So you want to hear a funny story?
Yeah, I do.
So last year we drove 12 hours. We drove 10 hours to Chapleau and another hour and a half up to Missinaba.
Yeah, sure.
We did keep some of the fish, but there's so many walleye up there. It's awesome. But we've gone before on trips like that where we will actually take fish that we've caught here, cleaned, and we'll take them and eat them there because we don't want to clean them up there.
Yeah.
We just get lazy.
Yeah.
It is. You just get lazy,
that.
and you there's lots of them there. But we've done that before too.
Yeah, we're catching lots, and we just don't bring any back because Erie's
so
just
many
loaded
here.
with them.
Exactly. Yeah. You just shore lunch it all, and
yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the afternoon, have a little appetizer and a cocktail, and then go back out fishing. And
nice. Well, the best is when you travel that far and you virtually get skunked, which seems to be me on Simcoe whenever I go ice fishing. So the last time I went, I did one of those overnight ones.
yes.
Sitting in the hut overnight, which was great. My buddy Corey and my partner, business partner Ryan, and so we were fishing out on the ice. We were there for 3 full days. You spent like $350 each in fuel, everything else that we got there. And I'm not even kidding. We got 2 perch.
Oh, no.
The entire weekend.
Yeah. Oh, it does happen.
It was like a $1,200 weekend for that was some expensive perch fillets.
It's a tough fish, but it's real. It's realistic. It happens.
Yeah.
It does happen. It's not
well,
all
you can't go
fishing.
looking for them too much. I mean, you can drill another hole, but you're right there. And if they don't come to you.
Well, that's it. Like they're not going to move this big sleeping hut that you're in.
No,
you're pretty much cooked.
Yeah.
So I start same as you, except it's not Long Point, but maybe you're going to change my mind here. I start also the pike.
Yep.
I'm thinking probably about 3 weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
But I go to Rondo.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And fish the pike in the inner bay in there. You do end up getting a lot of
For all
largies
the weed. Yep.
as well. And they're right at the shore, which is like 2 feet of water.
That's where a lot of times we're casting into those the weeds that are just starting to come up, and and there's a few bass that'll nip you too, but it's inevitable. But it's usually fun trying to get the pike because it's a good fight first thing in the spring.
I mean, I don't know about Long Point, like for Rondo, there's not a lot of big ones out there.
I wouldn't
the
say
smaller ones, but we're getting a lot of volume, right?
Yeah.
So you're just we most times we'll have like a 50 fish day.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's pretty good day.
Like
that's a good day.
Between a couple guys.
It's always better to be active for me anyways, right? I mean, if you lock into a big one, that's always a bonus. But if you're staying active and catching fish, that's always
fish
great.
on is fish on. That's what we always say.
Absolutely, yeah. For anybody listening, I wouldn't go to Rondo. The fishing's terrible. So what's next? You're gonna start with that. you're probably going to do the same kind of circuit that I'm going to do.
We might get down to the river. Last year we didn't get down to the St. Clair River, but we've done the St. Clair River in the spring and done some bottom bouncing for walleye, and that's always fun.
There's a lot of guys like right now, just like Kingsville area, that are just slaying.
Yeah.
Well, Detroit River's on fire.
I've heard everybody's out there jigging.
So
we may get down to do that a little bit. And then we'll head north, and then we'll end up out at Port Glasgow. Probably doing some walleye fishing on Erie, and that's a fun day. That's always a fun day.
Yeah, well, especially when you can take people that don't fish.
And you look like a hero.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This guy knows what he's doing.
I'm going to charter on Glasgow from here on in.
That's the best way. That's the best ways to do it.
Don't ask me about anything
Anybody
else.
can look good.
That's right.
It has become catching, not fishing almost.
Yeah.
It is. How long is it going to last, though, Pat, is my question.
I don't know. I always read the reports as they come through on the outdoor magazines, and they keep saying that it's another banner year and it's going to keep continuing on. So I don't know. I mean,
at some point,
every time it seems it's another 5 years, another 5 years, another 5 years.
That's what I keep reading.
It doesn't seem to be letting up. But we've also talked about it. What does all that walleye doing to the perch?
It's got to be affecting how much perch they're netting, right? Like it down in Wheatley area or whatever, right?
Yeah. Now we haven't done a lot of perch fishing anymore.
No, we haven't. We used to we'd go out a couple times a year and just find a spot and drop your anchor.
Yeah, I remember
and just
you talking about that.
Yeah, and it was a lot. It was a lot of fun. You could be 5 feet away from another boat, and one boat could be on fire, and the other guy's not catching anything.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
I've been in the other boat.
Yeah,
I think we all have.
I was just going to say, I believe I have as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So so then we'll do that, and then when we get into the fall, that's when we'll see you down at Lighthouse Cove, and we'll either go to Lighthouse Cove or up to Mitchell's Bay, and we have some fun with the largemouth bass.
Yeah,
and that's a fun time of year.
I really love it.
That's a fun time
I love the largie fishing. I'm getting spoiled a little bit on St. Clair. I've become more of a bass guy, right? By virtue of what's there.
Yeah. You know what? We'd love you to take us out and do some smallmouth.
Absolutely.
If you know some smallmouth, because
I do.
That's one thing
Actually,
we're not great at.
We have talked about it, but we've not really focused on that part a whole lot on St. Clair. So
give
we'd
us
love
an
to
education. We'd love it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I would call it an education. Certainly not a paid education. School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
But I've been out fishing them the last couple of years, trying to figure out where they are, and I've been getting into Ned rigging a bit. I don't know if you guys
we are.
You're doing that.
Last year,
that's becoming my favorite bass technique out there. I think. And spy baits. Have you ever thrown spy baits?
No.
I bought some, and then I bought a setup for it, of course, another rod and reel. And,
of course.
So I bought
31 now.
Yeah. And so I've tried it. It's slow fish.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough.
I mean, it's not the most exciting thing to be, reeling something at like, quarter mile an hour. But man, it produces really well. A nice clear water and sunny days. Like, I'm shocked at how good it is out there.
That's what we need. We need to go out and just stick with it.
Yep.
Yeah,
well, today we have a charter special, so it works out.
Hey, perfect. Nice. We're in.
Actually, that we do. We keep talking about it. We keep talking about it.
Anytime.
But sometimes, and I'm sure a lot of guys do this, is you just fall back to what you're good at and what you're comfortable with.
Well, that's exactly
because you're going to catch fish doing it. But it's like, really, we should try that. Yeah, next time. We'll do that next time.
Or you tried for a half an hour, and it's not productive, and it's like,
let's go get some largies.
Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I have a nice fly rod setup that I got for my 40th birthday.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
That is still in the same position as it was when
you got it
on my 40th birthday. And unfortunately, I'd love to learn how to do it, but I've gotten good at, or decent at so many other kinds of fishing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know I'm going to have to go. I don't know anything about flies. It's going to be a rabbit hole. I'm going to buy a whole bunch of this stuff. I'm going to fish for a few seasons trying to figure out how to catch one. And I thought, or I can just go to Glasgow and just fill the tank.
Yeah. You know what? I've talked about fly fishing. People ask me, do you fly fish? I said, I've never, I tried it once, and it was a lot of work. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like going sailing. It's a lot of work. And when you can turn a key and start a motor and put the throttle down, I'm not a sailor. I've just never done the fly fishing either, just because I found it a lot of work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I did some center pin fishing down in Whirlpool.
Like steelheading or something?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's exciting too. I mean, it's definitely almost like going out salmon fishing.
Actually, I went down with you one time, and it was fun.
Yeah, you control the reel almost like a mooching reel, and but same as your fly setup.
Yeah,
it's collecting dust.
Yeah.
But it does count as a rod in my room.
It seems to me like you need well, I mean, that's the main thing is
32.
we went from 25 to 32. Just in like 20 minutes earlier. We could definitely get you out, Pete.
Yeah.
If
I'd love to do that. We talked about it.
I got, as long as we get a little more, as long as we get a little more water.
Yeah.
My boat sits in a lift, right behind the cottage. So we just sort of jump in and go.
Yeah.
Right now the water's pretty low.
Yeah.
It is.
So I can't get my boat in right now.
Really?
Yeah.
You think that's going to change?
I mean,
do you think the no ice on the lakes over the winter is going to change that? Like, I mean, generally it keeps the moisture in, right?
I think that's a big issue. Is that when the melt comes from like Georgian Bay, everything farther up that comes our way.
Yeah.
I think we normally get a lot of extra accumulation because they always dump about a foot of water out of the lake in the fall.
Yeah, and we may not see that come back.
And that's the problem. They dump it all. You don't get a big snow. You don't get a lot of ice.
Which we didn't have either this year.
Exactly. So we didn't even have a lot to melt. Yeah. And so right now I need about 7 or 8 inches to be able to get my boat in.
Wow.
Not good.
No.
That's really upsetting when you drop 50 G's on a ramp. On a dock and a lift.
Think all the rods you could have bought for that.
Actually, I had to sell about 150 rods to do that. But yeah, you'd love coming out there and just spending the day out there and just,
We did years ago. Remember, we used to go to Bell River and we'd go out to the hump and we'd get some bass out there, but we weren't real. I'm going to say talented at. Yeah,
it was a multi-species day. And, but we didn't really target smallies by any means.
It was.
You can get a lot. I mean, I fished the hump quite a bit, and I mean, like lots of jumbo perch sometimes. Yeah. Even when you're fishing for for whatever else for the bass, you get the perch on the Ned rig. Actually, is quite.
That'd be quite.
I've got a lot of jumbos. On the Ned rig.
Yeah. Nice thing about St. Clair is all the species. We've had days like you talk about multi-pets and multi-species. We were out. Remember when McMahon? We went out. And we were drifting, bottom bouncing for walleye, and we ended up with 7
on St. Clair.
Yeah. Ended up with 7 different species that day. I had that tiger muskie.
Yeah,
it was an awesome muskie on a little worm harness, bouncing in the bottom. It was a beautiful fish. It was a lot lot of fun.
Yeah, I've got a couple of muskie on the worm harnesses, like going for the walleye.
With gar pike
break you off, but
gar pike that day we had a lot of different species. It was fun.
We picked up some muskie with the wacky worms in fishing the largemouth.
Yeah,
because is that right?
They're
like
in the fingers in the cuts.
In the cuts. Yeah,
because you're doing that in November, right? And they'd all be back in there. I'm guessing you see a bunch of them on the sonar when you're cutting through the cuts and stuff.
You can see them, and I'll tell you, they're tough to catch. But it's the unsuspecting one when you chuck a worm and underneath a dock or up against a wall, and you think you're going to get a little hit of a bass, and then all of a sudden, wham!
Yeah, you can't even lift them.
Yeah, it's like okay.
Of course, you're all on lighter tackle, anyways. And
I don't know how many species are there, but I will tell you. Talking about species. So I had my buddy Kevin one time at the cottage, and on a Saturday we caught 15 species off my dock the same day.
15.
Wow. 15. Wow. I don't know how many are in the lake.
I would have no idea.
But like every kind of bass you could imagine, pike, catfish, a gar pike, we caught a muskie.
I've heard it's one of the most diverse species.
All your panfish and such.
All the panfish
in North America. So it's awesome.
Silverback. We've got the bowfin. If you ever caught a bowfin in St. Clair?
Not on St. Clair.
I caught one up. It was up just right north of Mitchell's Bay. We got in the boat, and at first I didn't know what it was, and it was the ugliest looking.
It's like a snake.
Yeah, it was the ugliest looking
like
fish.
A eel. Yeah,
but they're so friggin' strong.
It was strong. It was strong.
I've never caught one. My son caught one up north.
Yeah. They're super aggressive, Pat. Like if they sit close to the surface too. Like they'll come up. Like I don't know if they're getting air or what they're doing.
Yeah.
But like I have a little channel that runs beside my cottage. It's literally about 8-10 feet wide.
Yep.
And I sometimes see them in there. If you throw anything, like splash it even close, they just
really?
They don't care what it is.
And they're ugly. Like they're not.
I can confirm that they are not good to eat.
You tried.
Well, my buddy Ryan actually tried. Yeah.
I don't know how you could cut it up.
That was the thing. I have no desire to even try to figure out how to fillet that thing.
I wasn't interested, but he said, like, does anybody ever eat these? And I said, I have no idea. And he said, well, why don't we try it? And I said, if you want. So he filled it up and he took one bite and he said, yeah, we don't want to eat this. Yeah. And so I never tasted it.
Good to know.
I was going to ask if it was greasy or chewy, but I guess you don't know. You didn't try it.
I did not try. I mean, he spit it out, so I was pretty comfortable with.
There's my answer
at that point.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, so why aren't you a muskie guy? Because I know you caught some muskie out there.
You know what? it's that fish of 10,000 casts, they say.
Yeah. I know you go out with Fleming.
And I go out with Jim. Yep. Jim, usually once a year, we get on the boat, and we've had some really good times, and we've had some slow days. For a veteran like Jim,
some monsters.
Yeah, we've had some big fish, we've had some small fish.
You normally go too with Jim?
Yeah,
like every year.
And my brother, it's usually
Bobby will go.
There's probably like 6 or 8 of you.
Usually four, sometimes 5. Yeah, and same group, but I don't mind doing that. But I don't know if I have the patience that I watch you and some of the other guys sit there and cast after cast after cast.
Yeah.
I
8 hours of blowing your back out for one hit.
Yeah.
We're always driving by that mouth.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're all stacked out there.
Yeah, and you'd probably see us flying by, and we're heading over to the cuts. And
I watch for you.
Yeah. So I just don't know if I have the patience for it. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I maybe spoiled a little bit with some of the fishing that we've had with some of the largies and even some of the walleye, where it's like, okay, constant, and then to go that long and maybe get a hit or two. I
think it's that activity thing we were talking about earlier, right? Staying active, catching fish. It's big for us.
Yeah, I think so.
I would tell you it'd be a lot less cold in November or December when I'm standing there if we were just constantly reeling them in.
Yes. That'd make a big difference.
It's definitely chilly. I've had
to get accustomed. Some weather. There's some weather that comes in.
But I don't know what it is, and I think it's fishermen in general. I think the every group of fishermen, there's very few that I've met that I just like, this guy's a knob. Truthfully. Like, guys are just generally going, fishermen are decent people mostly, I think.
Fishermen are fishermen, and they're fishermen. Yeah. And most of them are good.
But I honestly enjoy the camaraderie there as much as I do.
Well, I'm sure you get a chance to see guys week after week after week as well, right?
Yeah, a lot of guys you don't even know their name, right? But they're just like tipping their head, like, I thought I'd see you soon, but you don't really know who they are exactly. But you see them every year.
Sure. That we've seen that different times. You even go down when we launch at the dock at Glasgow.
Yeah.
You see the same couple of guys every couple of weeks. If you're there at 6:30 to launch, you see them and you go, "Oh, you're back again this week." Yeah, we're back again. And then you come back in and you see them at the cleaning hut, and
exchanging information. Same thing. If you're heading out and somebody's coming in, where were you? How far out? What depth? All those things come out. So
most guys are pretty good. Every once in a while, you find somebody that doesn't want to share a spot, and then you turn around, you look how big the lake is, and you're going like, seriously, dude?
There's a lot of fish out there.
There's a lot of fish out there. Come on.
When I'm at Glasgow,
especially when you find somebody new that hasn't fished a lot, and they're going like, where do I go? What do I do?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? The best thing you want him to do is when he's got his kid in the boat beside him.
I was just going to say that. You got 2 kids in the boat, get them on fish if you can.
Absolutely. I mean, I get like charter guys, stuff like that. This is their living.
That's their living.
They're not going to give you their honey hole,
Sure. I get that.
But at the same time, when I go out to, I love that when you go to like Leamington or something. When you go, I don't know if you fish that very often.
Yeah, we go to the marina
there. They have like
a
board there, and they show like, today, they're saying 35 feet. They're suspended in 20. Purple's been a popular color.
It's awesome. What a great way to share.
Yeah, I think
some of the blogs are already doing it too, right? You can pick it up on the blogs.
Yeah,
what guys are doing day to day.
I'm all for that. I mean, I'd love to I just love to promote the sport. It's become a massive hobby of mine. Yeah. So why wouldn't you share the love a little bit?
I've been asked many times, like, how did you learn to do this? I'm going, I just talk to other people and I ask other people questions.
And
that's all. And I fish with different people. We fish together. Pat and I fish together. I've fished with different people, and I watch their techniques, and I will ask them, now, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
It's not because I don't think you're doing it right. I just want to learn why you're doing it.
Absolutely.
That's how I learned how to do it.
Well, I mean, and I owe you thanks. I should just do this, bow to you. Because, you took me out on Glasgow when I got my first boat, and I was looking to start, trolling for wallies.
Your dad was out there, and
that's right. And, that you shaved a couple of years off the learning curve for me.
And like you just said, if you can teach and share that with somebody, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
That's my attitude for sure.
I was actually, I'm seriously thinking about a learn to troll option for myself this summer, like to teach a couple people that want to learn.
That would be
and maybe you'd love to get involved in that. But
you know what? That would be actually kind of neat. My wife just said that to me before I left. She says, well, have fun doing this. She says, and she says, I really see you doing something like a charter just for fun when you retire. I don't see you doing nothing. And I'm going, you know what? Something like that would be really kind of neat.
You're already kind of doing that, Petey. Petey will every once in a while throw up in a silent auction that he'll take customers out, and then they bid on it, and then he makes money for charity.
Awesome.
And gets people out fishing.
Yeah,
I've done it a couple times.
Yeah, I've done it a few times. It is actually a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I had a young fellow for a couple of years that I was mentoring that
I remember you talking about this.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And he was just learning how, and he was just super excited. And I took him out in Glasgow and stuff like that. Ironically, the first time we went out, it was like my second time with at a brand new boat and motor. And, oh my God, this is it's so brutal. Anyways,
doesn't sound like it went over well.
Well, we went out. We had the lines in the water for for very little time, and all of a sudden, we had a couple of fish in, and there was like 4 in the live well in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, this is awesome, and he's so excited. I let him drive the boat, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and then I got up to do something, and I hit the kill switch on the motor.
Yes,
and I did not realize I had done it.
Yep.
And so I'm sitting there going, this is a brand new motor. What the hell?
Never done that before.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. You get to tell by the look on my face I have.
If you've done it long enough, if you've been on the water long enough, you've done that for sure.
Yeah, well, I did it. And of course, I've got this kid out there, and it's like 6 o'clock, and we don't have that long. We're going to have to come back in, and I can't get it going, and I'm stressing. Oh. And there's nobody fishing that close to us. So I put on my electric trolling motor on full, and it was doing like 2.6 or something. Yeah. So I said, well, we'll just leave the lines out. We caught a couple of fish, and we were just trying to get close to somebody just to flag them down. And these guys stopped it was in Glasgow, and these guys stopped, and I said, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on. Brand new. They're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Nobody one time mentioned, have you checked the kill switch? And anyways, they had just got out there. He said, oh man, he said, I want to help you. He said, we've honestly been on the water for 15 minutes. And I said, you know what? We'll just travel around with my trolling motor. Keep an eye on me. And when you got a couple more in the tank, let me know.
Yeah.
And I'd appreciate if you give me a tow back.
Yeah.
And so he towed me back. So I gave him all the fish out of our live well.
Yeah.
But you could see the look on this 17-year-old kid was like, oh my God, we're going to die.
Well, thank goodness for electric trolling motors. I had that last fall, and actually I had Pat's son Eric in the boat with me.
Yep.
And we were at Mitchell's Bay.
Yep.
And the week before we were out, and I had my battery was kind of like, because I had my music going and I had the trolling motor going, which are different batteries. But I went to go start my motor, and it was like, and I went and I looked, and I was looking at my Lowrance, and it was drawing not enough power, and I thought something's wrong here. So I went back home, checked it, and it seemed okay. Charged it up. It was fully charged. It was okay. I'm fine. Eric and I went out the following week. We trolled around a little bit. An hour later, I said, well, let's go over here. Click, click, click. My cranking battery had died. So we
came in with the trolling motor?
We put in the trolling motor, and we got all the way back to the launch at Mitchell's Bay Marina, and we got it. But
wow,
it was, thank goodness for the trolling motor.
Absolutely.
So
take the shortcut. You guys cut across the shallows.
Swim across the shallows.
Yeah. Speaking of trolling motors, have you taken the plunge to lithium?
No.
I just did, like at the end of last season. So I literally installed the charger last weekend.
Yeah.
I was going to go put the batteries in this week, and fire
now why the change?
Well, the other ones died.
Yeah.
For starters, they were 6 years old, and they just
that's pretty good.
Bit
6
the bullet.
years. Yeah.
Yep. And I don't know. I'm a sucker for gadgets. I don't know.
I understand. I haven't done it.
I don't have a fishing room though, so
the batteries stay up in the garage. So.
I've heard it, and I've not done a whole lot of investigating on it, but love to hear your feedback on it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I blew the wad. I went with the Dakota Lithiums because I just wanted that 11-year warranty and stuff. You're spending a lot of money to do that, and but I mean, I should be able to troll around with my trolling motor, fish, all weekend and then some.
Yeah.
So you're 36 volts?
So 36 volt, 300 amp batteries.
Yeah.
So I should be able to just, not have to worry on a weekend, never charge it, and not worry about it.
That's comfort.
That's kind of the main reason.
That's comfort.
Yeah. Because, you know what it's like. You go out with somebody and you're trolling for a while, or it's heavy wind and you're really running the trolling motor. And then all of a sudden you realize it's running out of juice,
right?
And you still want to fish some more. So I thought I should never have to worry about running out. That was really the main reason. Yeah. And I guess I apparently had $3,000 to waste.
That's fishing.
That's it.
I mean, if it's going to keep you running all day though, and that's a long-term thing, it's worth it, right?
Yeah, I should be able to run a couple of long days easily without running out the batteries, I would think.
Up north, that's valuable too, right?
It is.
We're always dragging cords down to the docks and charging every night, but
it'd be nice to have that power last a few days instead of trying to have to do it every night.
Yeah.
Well, and I think we do it for safety and probably comfort.
Well, yeah,
because
like you said, your big engine dies, right? And suddenly you got to come in on that trolling motor.
It's realistic. It's happened.
You're going to be happy you got 8 hours worth of
but
trolling.
you're going to throw the second battery in now.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So because of the electronics on boats now, I've got 2 in the back of mine. So I can switch once I get out there on my electronics. So my crank I can always get that motor started and get home.
Yeah, I wondered about that.
See, I've always run with just one.
Yeah.
And Joss is actually going to put a second one in for me in the spring.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. He says, you're not running 2, Mr. Thus. You know, Joss, Mr. Thus. And it's like, no, Joss, I'm not. But he says, well, I said, let's.
Actually, probably what he said was, sir, listen to me, sir. Sir, listen to what I'm
stop
telling
talking.
you,
Sir, stop talking. Yes.
You need 2 batteries.
That's my best Joss impression right there. But
oh, God.
I'm hoping he'll come out, actually.
Yeah.
Nice to have him come and chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
wealth of knowledge.
lot of knowledge there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's a great guy. And actually, I definitely owe him some kudos because I don't know if you've ever gone fishing up in Red Lake, but I went to Red Lake a couple times.
Yep.
And we always, there's a group of us that go. There's 4 of us that went, and there's a lot of bragging rights. Farthest cast, biggest fish, you name it. And so I went into Josh and said, I'm going to Red Lake. I've never been there before. It's monster pike. Give me something. I need to take home.
What
the
do
cup.
I need?
What
do I need?
Yeah. He's like, okay, follow me.
Yeah.
And he pulled out I don't know if it's 4-inch or 5-inch. It's a massive black and white red devil.
Wow.
And he's like, if I was going to Knee Lake, this is what I would be taking. I'm like, really? Black and white red devil? Like, I thought you might give me a 5 of diamonds,
something different. Yeah.
Sure. But he said, no, black and white red devil. I'm like, okay. The second day there, I got my PB 49 3/4-inch pike.
That's beautiful. That's a nice fish.
19-inch around.
That's a nice fish.
They had my picture, I think, on the Sunset Lodge website for a while.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
So I owe him. Here's to you, Josh.
Yeah. Well, we learned a bunch of our fishing down in St. Clair from Josh just feeding us. Do this, do this, do this. Even one day we followed him up the river. And he was showing us some spots. Remember, we followed him and we fished close to him one day.
He's like king of the hair jigs, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you use hair
how
jigs?
come you're not doing this? Don't do this.
All you need is this.
Yeah.
All you
need is this. So we fish a little different. So we stuck with him for about an hour, and then we went up a little further and did our thing, and we had a blast. It was awesome. I've learned a lot of fishing from him.
And where did we end up?
What?
All the way back.
Down.
Fishing largemouth.
All the way back down the river. All the way
back down the river. He stayed up, and we went back to our favorite. So
yeah, he's a good guy. Funny. Yeah.
There's that comfort again. But I learned a lot of my electronics from him too. Like I've taken courses at his place. We've gone to his place.
I've gone to a bunch of them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's how I've learned them. And I know I've had people say, "Where do you learn this stuff?" I'm going. Ask questions. Google it. Ask questions and go see Joss.
I want to get him on. I don't know what we should talk about, but he's got so much knowledge.
So speaking of buying toys, I bought the Active Target.
Well, I was actually going to get to that because
So and I haven't used it a lot.
How's it working, Pat?
It's not working very well. It's very.
I had to.
Joss has given me the setups and all that, and I haven't used it a lot. And he's even offered last summer. Spring actually to get us out fishing.
Yeah,
and he says,
talked about it.
Mr. Campbell, we'll dial it in. Nice. We'll get out in your boat and we'll do it. So I'm going to call him on it and get down and see him and see if we can't do it this spring and get it going. I don't know if fishing for me is looking at a screen. Looking for fish all the time. We love doing shorelines when we get up north and seeing the wilderness. And
we'll look for structure, and then then that's where we start. But
I'm going to try it. At least give it a go.
Yeah.
I got it. May as well use it.
Yeah, I actually just I took the plunge week and a half ago.
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
And bought it. So I have the pole and everything, and now I just got to go put it on.
Yeah, I wired out both boats. I got. I even set up the small tiller with it, and so I can throw it on either one. But you just don't get to use it. I mean, we get out there and you don't want to waste time not fishing.
Right.
Playing.
That's the thing.
It almost seems like it's a bunch of work. And that's my head. I don't have it, so I can't speak from experience, but it seems like, are we going to be staring at a screen all day making sure we're in the right spot, or are we going to go look for structure and then say, okay, hey, you know what? I know the structure over there. There should be fish there.
I think it becomes fish TV, right? You're just staring at it the whole time. And that's what I'm afraid of as well. I'm hoping not. But I think I want to be able to, like, for example, go out to the hump and just, put it on forward or whatever, and just kind of see what's going on. If I can see some fish or some activity, or even if you're throwing a bait and nobody's going after it, then at least you got to change it up. I don't want to sit and stare at it all day.
No,
at all.
Yeah, and
if you like, that's the dilemma. You get caught up in that, right?
If you watch Fishing Canada, Pete and Ange, Pete's really good at using it, and you watch the fishing shows, and he's using it all the time, and it's just for that, right?
Yeah.
If you spot them, and once they're out there, you
know where to cast.
Right. I mean, I don't want to look at a screen all day.
You want to take that plunge, Pete?
I'm not going to say no, but I think like Pat's talked about it, and I looked at it, and it was like a lot of times our setups are very similar. Even our electronics, our boats are very similar. I haven't gone there yet for that reason. Is this now going to become work?
Yes.
That I have to sit and not have to, but want to sit and stare at the screen to figure out where the fish are.
Yeah, you spend a lot of money. You don't want to just not use it.
Absolutely. Right? So I think that little bit of let's see if they're over here. Mm-hmm. Let's see if they're in that bay. They should be over in those weeds. I still like a little bit of that, and I think that
I agree.
Might take that away from me.
Right.
If I look and see there's nothing there until I find, there they are over there.
True. Yeah, the maze. I mean, that's the fishing part, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I love going up north and like just looking for the cabbage or whatever. Just driving around like,
let's
right there.
Yeah, look at there's logs over there. Let's give that one a try. So
I'm with you.
We do that a lot. So that's maybe in my head that's what I would be afraid it would take that away from me.
I was this close to selling it. I was going to get rid of it because I just wasn't using it, and I thought, you know what? Give it another year, give it the college try, and we'll just see. Maybe it'll latch on, and it's just another screen. I've already got the extra electronic for it out in the front of the boat, so I got two, and one's just dedicated. I got a 9 carbon just dedicated for the live target. So
that's exactly what I'm. I've got the 12 HCS at the helm and the carbon up front as well. Yeah, same.
That
setup.
sounds like we've all got the same 12 at the console and 9 up front. Yeah. It works good though. I like it. That has definitely, especially on Glasgow, or even if you're, we use it a little bit when we're on St. Clair, but it definitely helps. I mean, when you can look at a screen and you see nothing on there, and as soon as you start to see them floating, it gives you a pretty good idea where you need to be with depth and such. So
absolutely, it's a tool.
As much as I'd love to say I'm smart because I look at my electronics.
Sure,
and it's also a safety thing, right? I mean, there's been times where we've gone out and the fog rolls in, and remember that long point? Oh my goodness, it was so thick. It was.
Is that right?
We couldn't see shoreline.
We were worried about hitting boats. But we just went really slow. But at least we could see on the mapping where we were going and how to get back, right? Yeah. Because honestly, you didn't know where you were heading.
It was that thick, and as the sun came out, it cleared up, and we looked at the path when we were coming back because we always have our trails on. It was like, hey, look, we actually didn't do too bad. But that was a day where it was nice to have it for sure.
Yeah, having the GPS was very important, and we've actually told some friends of ours who just bought boats. You got to make sure you have this stuff because. It is a safety thing too. It is valuable.
I wouldn't go without it.
Yeah, it's not just to find fish. Some will call them fish finders. Well, yeah, they are, but it's the GPS and the trail system. I'll tell you, that's helped me more than once, twice.
Yeah,
especially on water you've not fished a lot.
Yeah, I have to learn to delete the trails though because it gets to be quite a mess. It's like I can't even tell what trail I'm on.
That's just sketch.
Because there's so many. Yeah, exactly.
And that just sketches right.
So here's the big question: how long before you pull it out of the barn or the garage in your case?
This Saturday, Pat and I are getting together with our brides, and that's one of the topics of discussion that I'm going to bring up is when are we taking them out? So we're fortunate enough to be going to Augusta to the Masters.
You do it every year, right?
Yeah, in a couple of weeks, and Pat's joining us this year. So
nice.
I
would
think
treat for me.
Probably after we get back. Maybe a week or so after we get back, I think we'll pull them out and get them ready, get the batteries in, get them serviced, get all the gear put back in, and I think that'd be good timing for me.
With the weather lately, I mean, it's just been crazy. It's got the itch going already, right? I want to get out on the water.
I think it's going to be 9 degrees this weekend.
Yeah.
Which is so I'm going to fire up the boat for sure.
Yep.
I did half of it last weekend, and I'm going to do the rest this weekend.
It's definitely getting the itch. I'm definitely getting the itch. When you see the warmth and you see it on some of the blogs on Facebook, the people are catching them, and it's like
they're posting all these hogs. Right?
Should we be getting them out? Should we get? And then 2 days later it snows, and it's like, okay, no, we don't need to get them out yet.
I've been on the water as I'm sure you have when you're your telltale is not spitting anything and you're just panicking because like, is it actually, is it spitting water, or like there's going to be some water left in the boat and you put it in the trailer and then it gets cold again?
Yeah. And
in the lower end, whatever.
I don't need to do that. I just,
Like
if I had a warm spot to store it all year, I'd be fine. But come to the time that I put it away, it sits in my laneway before it goes to storage for the winter.
We push it in the fall, that's for sure.
We do.
I mean, my boat's seen snow and before it's
too.
winterized, right? And so, and you always cringe. You walk out and it's like, ooh, geez, maybe a little long.
Are my batteries good?
Yeah.
Is everything still okay?
Yeah, for sure. I'll be curious to see actually how the lithiums do in the cold.
Yeah.
Because I've heard sort of mixed reviews about, you got to buy self-heating and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what's going to happen there. But yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, I'm like I said, muskie. I fish muskie very hard from October to December.
Yeah.
And I leave my boat into the last second, which is,
right.
Nice to have it out, but at the same time, very frustrating because then you're putting it away. And mine is something.
You're out in the laneway with gloves on, pulling your batteries out and pulling everything out.
It sucks so bad.
It is. And I'm not a fair weather fisherman. We fished in a lot of crappy weather and cold weather, which we're fine with. I always say, I'm not going out in the wind and the rain, but if I'm out there, I have the gear to get.
Yeah.
But come fall and that 1st of December, when you start pulling batteries out of the boat, it's like, okay. Yeah, I should have done this last week.
Oh yeah. I've done many oil changes when it's definitely too cold.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should have done it last week. Oh well.
Well,
that's fishing.
Yeah, I'm happy that the season is upon us.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm so friggin' excited. Oh my God, I cannot wait to get out.
Looking forward to it. Got some new gear to try out.
Yeah. Well, you've got like 6 more rods to get.
I gotta catch back up.
I have to just sell some so I don't feel like I've got too many. But I wish I had a fishing room though, but I don't have one.
Yeah.
Listen, you guys, I think we got to wrap it up. But thank you so much for
awesome. This was
coming.
fun.
This was a lot of fun.
Great. Thank you, Pete. It was good to see you again.
Good to see you as always.
Say hi to your wife, and I'm glad your wife fishes as well. Then, Pat.
She'll come out with us, but not near as much. She would rather maybe sit somewhere and read a book while we fish.
Yeah, that would be my wife as well. But as long as there's no waves.
You're right.
Yeah.
She's
it has to be perfect.
She's good with that. But we'll definitely have to get you out on St. Clair
this year.
I mean,
that'd be awesome.
We're going to hold you to it.
Third weekend in June, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to.
Yeah, would love to do that.
Anytime. Well,
that would be fun.
I mentioned to you a couple of times, that you're more than
Go
welcome
down to the cottage and let's
100%.
we should do that for sure.
Consider it done.
That's awesome.
Well, fellas, I look forward to seeing you on the lake. Thank you for coming. Thank all of you for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Chad.
Thanks.